They were called MIMO, something like that. So this has been great victories for associations. But now we want to do something, a more step forward. We want to have an independent research. Because in France we suffer. I live in Bordeaux. There is a lab in Bordeaux who is specialized to find nothing. They have never any positive result. And if you happen to have a positive result in one lab in the world, they carry on the same experiment in their own lab, and they find nothing. And they say, that should be a blunder. You should look at your measurements, you should look at your dosimetry and all that stuff. And so what we are claiming for in France is an independent research. That is, the money shouldn't go from the companies to the labs, but should be taken from the company, of course, as an income tax and used by independent agencies to finance the projects. That's one point. And we want to explain science to the people. Our goal in PRIARTEM, the French Association, is to explain the difficult facts of science to the people in simple words. Because very often the people do not understand what we're talking about when we talk scientist to scientist. And we have to make in simple words people understand what's going on. And to explain that the risk is not perhaps to be measured today, but could be a great risk in the future if you consider the huge number of users of mobile phones. So I will invite you to our meeting in Paris. We held a meeting in Paris on October the 20th and the 21st. Unfortunately, I feel we don't have a wonderful organization like tonight. But I hope you will come. You just go to our website, PRIARTEM, or you just look on the internet, you'll find the Foundation Health and Radio Frequency. That could be a very interesting meeting. Please come in October in Paris. Thank you.
Finally, I would like to let one of my many teachers, I have teachers here. Professor Gandhi is one of my teachers in electrical engineering. Henry Lay is one of my teachers. And Niels Kuster and Andreas Christ, who's not here, have taken many hours to explain things to me. And Alvaro de Salas has as well. So, Alvaro, I will give you the last word to talk about what has gone on in Brazil. Thank you very much.
It's about the kids, the children. We use a big simulation with numerical techniques to find out the difference between the exposure to in the adults and the children. And we have very easy ways to show that the children are more exposed than the adults. One of the reasons for that is that their brains are smaller than the adults. So if you take around 20% smaller, you would end up with around 20% more exposure. And also the dielectric properties of the tissues are different. For example, the permittivity in the children, they are around 20% higher than in the adults. And therefore, what happens is that you have more concentration of the electric field in their heads. And also, the conductivity of the tissues in the children, they are between 15 and 20% higher than in the adults. So then, therefore, you have more, around 20% more dissipation of power. So if you add these three characteristics, so dimension, dielectric constant, and conductivity, you will end up with around 60% more dissipation of energy in the head of the children in comparison to the adults. You can do it with a huge simulation, as Dr. Om Gandhis has been doing since more than 13 years. and that we do it in our university. But you don't need the computer. It's just to take these figures, and you will end up with the higher exposure in the children. And that's one of the major points that Deborah is making. The children are the more exposed people. And then we have to start with this subject and try to solve it, and after the others will come in the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I want to just say, I want to publicly ask you to please clap for the three people who are to my right. Libby Kelly, Carolyn Friedman, and Franz Edelkofer have been responsible for providing the money to support what we are doing here with this conference, and I am personally very deeply grateful to all of you. And I will let Dr. Edelkofer have the last word now as he talks about the situation in Germany, although his work has been done in Austria as well. Yes.
Yes, before I'm talking about the situation in Germany, I would like to congratulate you. It's my impression that what has presented here on the occasion of this 2 days meeting might have fallen on a fertile ground. Let's wait whether the seed is growing. That's what I really hope that will happen. With regard to Germany, the situation is a very difficult one. And I personally am not very happy about that. Why? The industry in Germany has an enormous influence on what is going on in the politics. Let me say, the industry determines, for example, who are the advisor for the political decision makers. And the result is quite clear. The advisors of our government propose that the German people are protected from any kind of radiation as long as they keep to the present safety levels. There is, of course, a group of people, let me say, there are many, many organizations which do not like such an idea. But indeed, they are absolutely powerless. Because they can't do anything against this strong position, which is in the hands of, which is kept up by the industry and which is taken over by the politics. There's just one sign which creates a little bit hope. If you look at the literature coming from our Office for the Protection of People, they indeed disagree quite openly with what the advisors to the government, who advise also the Institute for the protection from electromagnetic fields are saying. They recommend that people should be cautious with this problem with electromagnetic field. They should accept, they should make use of the preventive possibilities which we have. That is a disagreement with the advisors of the government, and I hope that this disagreement will one day result in a change of the governmental position. But so far, we are quite far away from this, and I really hope that what we have heard here will also radiate to Europe, will radiate to Germany.
Right. Yes. And again, my sincere thanks to you for believing that we could do this, and to all of you. Now, please enjoy the rest of the evening. And again, we look forward tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. We will be hearing from Leonard Hardell, and I do have his slides. He will be talking about them, and I really want to encourage you all to come. It will be a very, very important presentation. Thank you all. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you. I wanted to say how much we owe a great debt of gratitude to this great leader, and I hope you heard all the family cheering for you today. Thank you, Dr. Davis.